Reports continue to surface that Bend Studio has officially canceled its unannounced live service project, internally known as Mirrorpond. And this time the story has taken on new life because early animations from the game have now appeared online. While Sony never publicly revealed the project, multiple sources over the last several years had confirmed Ben was working on a multiplayer focused live service title following Days Gone. With the cancellation now effectively confirmed and development assets leaking into public view, we're finally getting a clearer sense of what Mirrorpond may have been and why its loss is emblematic of a much bigger problem inside PlayStation's current strategy. Mirrorpond was reportedly in development for several years, occupying the bulk of Ben Studios' resources after Days Gone shipped in 2019. Rather than moving forward with a sequel or another narrative driven open world game, Ben was redirected into Sony's broader push toward live service titles. At the time, Sony leadership was vocal about its desire to diversify PlayStation's portfolio with games that could generate long term engagement and recurring revenue. On paper, they may have sounded like a smart business move, but in practice, it placed studios like Ben into unfamiliar territory, forcing them to abandon the very design philosophies that had defined their success. The cancellation itself appears to be a part of a larger course correction at Sony. Over the past year, PlayStation has quietly pulled back from several live service initiatives, either canceling projects outright or scaling them down significantly. Mirrorpond joins a growing list of games that were never announced, never marketed, and never given the chance to prove themselves publicly. These weren't small side projects either. These were multi year efforts involving dozens, sometimes hundreds of developers. When a project like this gets canceled, it's not just a game disappearing, it's creative momentum being wiped away. What makes the Mirrorpond situation particularly interesting is the leaked animation footage. These assets, while clearly unfinished and early in development, show third person movement, combat ready stances, and traversal animations that feel far more grounded than what you'd expect from a trend chasing live service title. The character weight, camera positioning, and pacing all suggest a game that may have leaned closer to Ben Studio's traditional strengths than originally assumed. There's a sense of familiarity here, something that feels like it could have evolved into a compelling action experience if given enough time and a clear creative direction. And that's where the frustration sets in. Ben Studio is a team that excels at world building, character driven storytelling, and slow burn immersion. Days Gone, despite its rocky launch, found a passionate audience over time and proved there was still interest in what Ben was doing. Instead of building on that foundation, the studio spent years chasing a live service model that was never a natural fit. Mirrorpond's leaked animation didn't look bad. If anything, they suggest unrealized potential that never got the chance to fully form. Zooming out, Mirrorpond isn't just about Ben's studio. It's about the risk of chasing industry trends without respecting studio identity. PlayStation built its reputation on carefully curated prestige single player experiences. The identity didn't happen by accident. It was the result of trusting studios to do what they do best. When that trust gets replaced by mandates and market chasing, the results are almost always messy. Mirrorpond is another example of how even well funded, talented teams can lose years of progress when strategies shift midstream. There's also a lingering concern about what this means for Ben's future. This is now the second major reset for the studio since Days Gone. Each restart delays the moment when Ben can reestablish itself creatively and publicly. While reports indicate the studio has moved on to a new project, the lack of clarity raises questions about how much freedom Ben will naturally have going forward. Will they finally return to a traditional single player experience? Or will they once again be nudged towards something that doesn't play to their strengths? Ultimately, Mirapond's cancellation feels less like an isolated failure and more like a cautionary tale. Live service games aren't inherently bad, but they're not one size fits all solutions. When studios are pulled away from what made them successful in the first place, the cost isn't just financial, it's creative. The leaked animations serve as a reminder that behind every canceled project is a version of a game that almost existed, shaped by people who believed in it long before corporate priorities changed. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And if you want to support the channel, check out my Patreon, where the latest exclusive is a review of Metal Gear Solid, including a deep look at how that game revived what was originally the Metal Gear franchise and helped redefine storytelling in video games. Until next time, game on.